Hi, welcome to Observations. I'm host John Walsh. Today, we are continuing the candidate interview for the 2021 special election for Mayor of Palm Coast. Joining us is Cornelia Manfre. Welcome, Cornelia.
Thank you, John.
Glad you could join us today.
Well, I'm just thrilled. Thank you.
Great. Okay, well, I've got a list of questions. There are 18 questions. You've got 30 minutes. We'll go by the clock. Hopefully we'll get all the way through. We should. Most candidates did. Okay. So let's just dive in. Ready?
Yes, sir.
It's an easy one. How long have you been in Palm Coast, Cornelia?
I'm here since 1999.
Long time.
So,
seen some changes, haven't you?
I've seen a lot of changes. But, just the layout of the city has expanded, and it's wonderful to watch that.
Yeah, it's been exciting, no doubt about it. Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am a citizen of the United States of America.
And you have been forever, all along?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So let's get into it a little bit. What makes you qualified to be mayor of Palm Coast? Maybe your top three.
I'm a business person of 41 years. I have a college education from Fordham University in urban studies and French, and I find that after 41 years of business experience in corporate America and being a real estate broker here in Florida, I have an unusual qualifications to be able to come to the city and be the mayor of the city.
Very good. Thank you. What do you think the biggest issue facing Palm Coast is today?
Right now we have a void in leadership at the City Hall. We immediately have to hire an experienced, empathetic city manager. I want somebody who has run cities before, and I believe that we need the person that is going to come in, believes in establishing customer service, and work with the personnel to make our city hall an approachable city hall, as we hopefully have companies that would like to come here and bring jobs to the city. Jobs are absolutely critical right now, and I'm about job growth as we are expanding. So the city manager is the top priority for me when I get in as mayor.
Leads into the next question. Mm-hmm. The approach the city council is right now taking is that they are not enlisting a professional HR firm to help them in the search. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it should be a professional service leading this campaign for new city manager, or the city council figuring it out on their own?
I think an outside firm would be helpful, because I think we have to look nationally. We are a growing city. We are sandwiched between Volusia and St. Johns County that are exploding. So we need somebody who can get in here and understand the master plan for this community, and a search company will speed up the process and be very specific about the particulars that we're looking for in the candidate.
Great answer. And I need to ask this. Do you have anybody in mind that would serve as city manager today?
Not at this moment, no.
So if you're elected mayor, one of the very first issues that you'll be dealing with is the annual budget. Mm-hmm. What is the largest budget that you personally have managed?
Ooh, $500 million.
That's a big budget.
Yes.
Like to share?
I worked in New York. I worked with New York Life Insurance in the real estate mortgage loan department, where I handled multi-million-dollar loans that were for shopping center developers, office building developers, American Express, Citibank, UA Theaters. UA Theaters is where I had the largest budget. I covered half the country. I was in charge of site selection, leasing, disposition, acquisition. So I was dealing at the toll. We had 853 locations throughout the country and in Australia and Hong Kong.
Wow.
So my position grew into covering everything east of the Mississippi. And also we took care of tenants, because of a lot of the older buildings had little shops in front. So at that point, we had close to 120 tenants that we were overseeing from New York down to Miami.
Thank you. So part of that budget are taxes. I'll give you the Goldilocks question. Are taxes too low, too high, or just right?
I think they're a little high at the moment, and I'm concerned about the line items of the budget. So I am now researching what is composed in our budget for the city of Palm Coast. And as we have discussed multiple times, the out of balance structure is, where is the money coming from? The money coming from pretty much close to 90% off of the residential units. We have got to grow our commercial tax base so that we take some of that burden out. My the biggest concern is if we run into another economic downturn, we're going to be in trouble. Because if that revenue is coming from the houses and people are losing jobs and losing their houses, we're going to lose the revenue.
So that's on the revenue side. In your early review, are there any line item expense budget items that you think are questionable at this point?
I am reviewing the budget now. The capital expenses are something that I really want to delve into to make sure that we're studying where the infrastructure has got to be in place. With the growth, and as I was saying before, we're being sandwiched between Volusia and St. John's counties that are just exploding right now. We're next. So we have to make sure that we've got sufficient funds to take care of the infrastructure that has to be in place. We have 30, 40,000 more lots that are already approved. We have major subdivisions that are getting approved. We must ensure that the infrastructure is in place and that we have the money to support that. So that's a top priority.
Thank you. So a couple of recent budget items that the commission has, or the council has approved. The first one, Mednex. Would you support Mednex as it is, or would you propose to defund Mednex?
I'm in support of Mednex. Anything that will bring jobs to this area. It's a nice combination of proposals for Mednex. I want to know where it stands right now. That's very important. And whatever I can do as an ambassador of the area and a negotiator, I've been trained in negotiating and facilitating for 40 years. I would like to be sure that we hold on to the concept. It will help town center and bring jobs that we're looking for now.
And equalize the tax base in doing so.
Help the commercial tax base, right?
Yes. Okay, great. Another big ticket item recently approved was the tennis center. Would you support the tennis center as is, or would you recommend defunding it as well?
I would like to study that a little bit more closely because I know that we have a number of courts down there, but the expansion, maybe in a year, but right now I think the goal is to watch what those capital improvements are that we're talking about, and also study all the other facilities that we have in the county. For instance, you've got a swimming pool that may be closed, but we've got high school people that have to go someplace else to practice, and one of those people right now is, vying to be in the Olympics. We need more infrastructure that will support the needs of both the seniors and for the students here. So we have to do a balancing act, and that's what I intend to study and make sure that we're hitting those first.
You sort of alluded to this already, but the state chamber, Florida State Chamber, is forecasting between 20 and 30,000 more people will reside in Palm Coast in the next 5 to 10 years. Is it simply a question of higher density or urban sprawl?
The increase in
where are we going to put them?
Population. Where are we going to put them? Well, we have the 20 or 30,000 lots that are still available that ITT had mapped out. And you have the Matanzas Golf Course with 198 new lots. On Colbert Lane, you have probably close to about 400 units that are going through the approval process. We have the room, but I'm really concerned about our infrastructure, that we can support it, and that we preserve the beauty of our roadways, even with more population coming in, and keep the buffering with the construction growth that's coming.
Next subject, public safety. Flagler County Sheriff's Office reports when we're compared to other communities our size, staffing levels of deputies is low by an estimated 40 deputies. Would you support hiring more deputies, even if it would require a tax increase?
No on the tax increase. I would study the numbers of the needed deputies, but I question why we need more deputies when our crime rate has decreased. So it's studying all the variables there before, but I certainly don't want to see any tax increases.
Okay, thank you. Mental health is a concern throughout our community. Should the city invest in mental health services for the citizens?
This came up recently, and I know that we have a suicide rate situation with no service to counsel people. There is some through the schools, but we do not have those type of services, and I believe in providing those type of services. You can save lives, you can preserve somebody's integrity, and help them get back on their feet, and hopefully not lose jobs, because a lot of the job losses during the COVID, people have been suffering, and sometimes they suffer by themselves, and not having some kind of a mental health program out there that they can call on, and it may just be, it may be just a month of counseling that can get somebody back righted. And I think it's important that we provide that type of service.
Thank you. We talked a little bit about economic development, but in economic development, what should be the role of the city?
This is where we want it to happen. So the city has to project out a positive forecast of what we have, our nature, and the lands that we have available. But we have to come up with a really good marketing program. I mean, as you know, we've lost some key people that have been projecting out. But I go to a lot of conferences. I'm a member of the International Council of Shopping Centers. These are the groups that I've worked with, and we need to better our image, and we need a good marketing package. I believe that we should be collaborating with the county as well. So all the cities collectively and Palm Coast, we're marketing ourselves out there. We want people to know that we're happy and helpful for them to come here and establish a business or a retail shop. But the businesses are critical because those are going to bring the jobs.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Economic development issue locally, or it's portrayed as an economic development opportunity, commercial vehicles with signs. Are you in favor of relaxing the city codes that will allow commercial vehicles with signs parked in residential driveways overnight?
I am okay with a certain size of vehicle. 18-wheelers, no. But the smaller vans, perhaps we can look at what a cover could be for these vans that have to sit in the driveway. We're tight on parking. I mean, just our commercial operators are tight on parking. Our industrial people over on Hargrove are tight for parking. So they can't leave the vehicles at these facilities. They were not built to have the business vans parked there. So especially for the small business owner, they have one or two vans, for them to take them home, just like our deputies take their cars home. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with anything larger than a van.
Okay. Thank you. Community decisiveness. How would you balance the recommendations of city staff when they seem at odds with a vocal minority's opinion at a city meeting? Not that it would ever happen.
Well, first off, I am very strict about decorum. And if there was a problem with a citizen, I would stop the meeting, because people have to calm down. And staff should not be having to get engaged with the public where it becomes combative. I would want part of the reason for running for mayor is to run a council meeting where it is civil and respectful. And if a citizen becomes irate, stop the meeting and ask the person to leave, unless they can calmly get a grip and convey why they're there. And if they have a complaint, that's fair, but it has to be civil.
Great. If elected mayor, what do you hope you will be remembered for?
Ooh, That's an interesting question.
And plenty of time.
Remembered for guiding a city and a council into a peaceful, productive future. I studied urban studies. I was amazed by the structures of cities and how societies would work together in different cultures. This little town has 42 different nationalities in our school system. That's amazing. ITT Corporation went across the globe to market Palm Coast. We have got to be able to recapture that enthusiasm. And I would like to be the person that looks like, we got on the map and we're here to stay, but I want it to be sustainable growth and a happy place.
Great.
It's a beautiful city.
Yep. Can't argue that at all. And if there's anything else you'd like to add, now's the time to do it. In closing, anything else?
I have raised 3 children here. We have an amazing educational system. Catherine went to NYU, Alec to Georgia Tech, Barrett to Duke, and Catherine MBA at UVA. You can't get to those type of schools if you don't have a good foundation. Our school system has an amazing foundation, and the education is stellar. We live by the beach. When I grew up in Washington, D.C., it was 3 hours to get to the beach. I take advantage of my 10-minute drive to the beach as much as possible. Palm Coast is a very special place. It was very well planned out. We've got good infrastructure. I think ITT Corp did an amazing job with the engineering of the city. There are things here that I'm amazed some days when I go out for a walk or a bike ride on our bikeways. It is stunning. It is a stunning town. And I would encourage people to think about that when you're voting for a mayor. What person do you want to be able to lead through the positiveness that we have in Palm Coast?
Cornelia Downing Manfre, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time, and good luck to you in the campaign trail.
Thank you, John.
This special election podcast is brought to you by the Joe Mullins Companies. Live, shop, play.